All right. Well, happy Friday to all of you fine young gentlemen and ladies. We are live with two very special guests. This is probably going to be one for the books. So this is going to be one of the most replayed, as we have probably figured out. But we do have two very special guests. We do have Miss Elsa Porter, who is getting herself ready. You won't hear her for a second. And we also do have Mr. Actor, famous Mr. Rob OMalley out of Hollywood, California. So, Rob, welcome to you, my friend.
Hey, glad to be on the podcast.
Very cool. Well, we also have, Chris Cruz, of course. We are just getting set up as everyone's getting into a quiet place and a fun, intimate place so we can dig into this. There are a couple of things, just quick announcements before we get started. We have found out just literally 30 minutes ago before we got on that Bob Johnson texted us with a minor/major announcement for the rest of 2020 and the beginning of 2021. So you will be pleased to know, with everything going on, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Bob has decided, Bob and Laura said that the top three in every local show, if you place top three in your class,
open class,
you will be invited to our Vegas Global Championships, but invitational essentially. So that way you can compete for your pro card if you don't hit your local pro qualifier on the overall on that. So we're going to have more details on that as they come out. I'm not going to bore you with the details of that because we've been really kind of waiting all week for these two to hear from these two. And Rob, if you don't mind, ladies first, we do want to dig in with Miss Elsa Porter. And you know what, before we do that, I had something that I found that I thought might be interesting and worth sharing. So if you don't mind, Elsa, we're going to maybe dig into something that just, I don't know. Oh man, it came about sometime today. You might recognize this. I don't know if everyone else saw this just yet. But,
is it the video?
I don't know, maybe. But I was kind of stalking Elsa's page, and all of a sudden this thing came up. By the way, that's a great looking group of people too.
I know, right?
Love that picture.
I'm not even in it.
There was something that
there
we have to
That's
share
it.
with you guys. So, my first question to you. How did you pull that off with not absolutely cracking up the entire time?
You know what? The honest to God truth is that was like the 14th take. We have been cracking up the entire time. Bob and Laura, Bob was taking the video. Laura was cracking up. And if you have ever listened to Laura laugh, you can hear what I just said in your head. So she was laughing the whole time. And then, so we were like, okay, we're going to do this. And we don't care if we mess up. We're going to do this. But if you see Chris's expression, it's like a deer in headlights. You get a camera around him. At that time, now he evolved over time, but you get a camera in front of him, he's like this. So it was, the thanks was the best part because I was like, what else do you have to say? Thanks. And that sort of sums him up a little bit. I got nothing, you know. And by the way, I'm wearing the exact same shirt I was wearing in that video. I pulled it out just in honor of unearthing that.
You had no idea we were going to show that video, yet you wore the same shirt. So there must be something good going on.
It's a nostalgia thing, you know. Not many people have this shirt. It's this old logo. You have to have been around for a really long time to have this old logo.
Yes, you are correct. Now, we'll get back to really how you started competing, Elsa, just shortly. But I do want to bring in Rob. You know, Rob is someone who is halfway across the United States and on Pacific time. Rob, you're not originally from LA, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm not. Like a lot of people, I'm from, well, like a lot of people, Ohio. That's where I'm originally from, near Cleveland, Ohio. And like a lot of people, I packed up my beat up old car and headed for LA to make it big.
Very cool. Now, you just celebrated a 9-year anniversary with your wife. and tell us about your family, because it's kind of hard to pack up your life from Ohio and move to LA. That's where everybody wants to be if they want to make it. You're in the center of it right now. What was that like, packing that up? Tell us about your family and really how that got started for you.
Well, I met my wife out here. Okay. So I've been out here a long, long time. So I packed up when I was young man with, like, you know, the classic story, no money and, you know, stars in his eyes. And so that was a long time ago. I actually met my wife out here, and we got married, like I said, 9 years ago. We've been together 13 years. And so she's an actress as well. She's also an event planner. She does like weddings, parties and whatnot. And so it's kind of, we always say we wish one of us would have, like, you know, the regular job with the steady income, the 9-to-5er, but neither one of us ever really wanted to go that route. I'm personally not qualified to, but she probably would be. And so, you know, it's been a journey. I've got a son back home in Ohio. He's there now quarantining. See, that was tough. I was in a relationship. It didn't work out. And so I left when my son was really, you know, young. But he came out and spent summers and holidays with me. And then recently, in the last couple of years, he moved out here with me to, you know, pursue the dream as well. And so we got a household full of actors. Right now, he's currently back in Ohio, quarantining with his mother near Cleveland. And so it's interesting. We've got a house full of people in the entertainment industry. My daughter, Lizzie, 5. I don't know if she really has the bug. Like all kids, she wants to dress up and run around like a superhero, but she's gone on some auditions for some stuff. We're not definitely pushing it on her or anything like that. Maybe she can get the 9-to-5 job and support us all.
I like it. What is right behind you, by the way? You want to show that off? Is that Lizzie's or is that yours?
That's Lizzie's Princess Castle. She just got it for her 5th birthday.
Nice.
It's, I don't know if I can do it. Glory. You can add on to it. It can become bigger. Every year, like, you know, we just get her things that are huge and take over our house. And like, I remember my wife, before we had kids, you know, there's before kids and after kids. There's all the things you think you're going to do before kids. And see, I'd had a kid before. So my wife was like, we'd go over to a friend's house and they'd have some toys out in the main room or like the living room. And she'd be like, oh, no way. We're not doing that crap. Everything put away. And I was like, you know, it's amazing what happens after you have kids, what you're willing to do. And they run the roost. They rule the house, you know? And so
yes, sir.
We got princess paraphernalia all over the place, you know, on most days you can see me with the princess tiara on.
Well,
where is it now?
This is an interesting, this is an interesting role for you. You're usually the one doing the interviewing and we're interviewing you. So, you know, you've interviewed Elsa before on stage.
Yeah.
Is it a little weird to kind of be interviewing, you know, kind of like you and talking about yourself when really you're usually focused on someone else?
It would be if I didn't love talking about myself. And no, it's always strange to have people, you know, ask you questions about yourself, and it gets strange if you're like get a curveball question and you're not prepared for it. But like, being that I've been in the business a long time, I can always give the politician answers. So you ask me about something like, what's it like, the relationship between you and your wife? And I'm like, I'm glad you asked that. Great question. When I was 21, I set the state record in the high jump. You know what I mean? Like, you can always shift away from things like that. But like, I don't mind, if anyone knows me, I do tend to gab a little bit, and I'm never afraid to talk about myself.
Well, I got to tell you, we do appreciate you looking less homeless today, as I know that was a nice little jab that we threw at, because you combed your beard, you got your hair done, you know, you look less and less like, you know, I mean, we put the picture up there when you had short hair and no beard. And
I know.
like, man, that man is striking.
I thought it was like going for some biblical role coming up or something at first.
And see, I thought he was giving Todd's Rabbit a run for its money.
Oh, yeah. That's what it is.
Yes, like doing the Todd. You must be like Todd.
Well,
Todd is on here and he's watching, so he
who's on here?
That.
Todd. Oh yeah. No, I was trying to emulate Todd for sure. So, you know, like in quarantine, I quit cutting my hair and quit, you know, shaving the beard. You know, I've never had a long beard, so I was like, you know, hey, I'd like to go the full ZZ Top or Todd Rogers, whatever you want to call it nowadays. My wife was kind of digging it at first, and she's like, "Oh yeah, it's kind of cool," but now she's like, "Maybe you should cut everything." We don't like hair salons are closed here, and I'm not letting her cut my hair. And I've had enough experience trying to cut my own hair over the years that I ain't going down that road. So I'm just gonna keep rocking the under the bridge look for as long as I can, and see where it takes me. But if anyone out there wants to pay me, I'll cut hair, shave it, no problem.
So the official answer is you're already in prep for the 2021 Atlas to compare with Todd when you get there. That's what we're going with.
Yeah. And here's the thing too, once you start growing out your hair or a beard, you get invested in it. You're like, well, man, this is like, I haven't got a haircut since February. What's that?
So look who you're talking to when you get invested in growing out the hair.
He's just hairless and lazy.
This is why I'm in the closet right now, y'all. I'm just saying.
Well, okay, so I have to set the record straight on two things. Number one says, Todd, looks like you're preparing for a slim Grizzly Adams role. And number two is Morgan wants to know, Elsa's daughter, where your tiara is, because if you're wearing it for Lizzie, why aren't you wearing it for us?
No, thank you.
I wish there was one nearby. Normally I'm just sitting there like on my phone, like Neanderthal man, and my daughter comes by and starts putting stuff on me, and like, parenthood, you barely start to feel it anymore. You just know all of a sudden I've got like a cape on, a tiara, and I'm a super princess. Or how can I be a prince? Sometimes she lets me be a prince. You know what I mean? But you got to roll with that, girl dad.
Yeah, I can tell you from experience, man. Those things hurt when you don't have hair to put that stuff on.
Things into your scalp.
Yeah.
No. And sometimes you forget. So like a delivery will come to the door and you'll all answer it and be like, "Yo, what's up? Oh, FedEx, how do you do?" And I'm just looking at you like, you're like, "What?" And you don't realize, I got a tiara on and I'm wearing a tutu, and that's just
should be normal in LA.
True.
That's Tuesday, right?
Yeah. Well, Elsa, you've got your daughter watching, of course, and she is a big part of GBO too, as I think everybody here knows she's one of our MVPs and really saved the day last year, when she had the nice being in charge of being a scorekeeper for the largest show, and she absolutely nailed it. She was someone who was, killing it. I think that stems from Mom and the way she does things. How did you start competing, Elsa, and when did you start, and what are some of the things, your highlights, first of all?
I started competing after a while, I started working out when I was 35 years old. New gym opened up. They had daycare, and that's all I cared about. So people were like, "You going to the gym today?" I said, "Heck yeah, they're taking my kids for 2 hours." Yeah. So I would be in there 2 hours a day. I use those 2 hours. I'm going to tell you right now. And eventually somebody kept asking, "What are you competing? What are you training for?" And I'm like, "Training for? I'm here because I'm here." And then eventually one of our friends convinced my husband to compete. And then next it was my turn to compete, which was an epic failure. But once you do it, you either do it and love it or you do it and hate it. And I actually happened to do it and love it. And so we just kept going. And so I did a couple of shows. I had no trainer, or a bro trainer for the first one. I had Tina Chandler for another one. And I really didn't start winning until that guy right here.
The lower left-hand corner in our spot.
Yeah. This guy, yeah. And whenever you start doing well and you start winning, then you're more encouraged. I mean, if you continuously don't do well or don't feel like you did as well as you could, then you tend to get discouraged. But signed up with Chris, and I had 2 coaches. So I was blessed. I had one riding my butt at home, one riding my butt on a weekly basis. So it's kind of, I was blessed.
You couldn't get away from coaching, could you?
Yeah, I mean, literally, it's like, "Are you sure you're gonna eat that?" Seriously, dude, I'm in the closet. Come on now,
It was
I'm in the shower with a sandwich. Somebody's like, "Are you gonna eat that?" No.
Basically, how it went is Chris. I think Chris would handle most of the coaching up to about 5 or 6 weeks out, and then it'd be like, here, Cruz, she's yours. It's like, okay, great.
Fix my mistakes.
And then the first thing was always, Elsa, do your cardio, because she would not. And so always had about 5 weeks to create these miracles, and I think we've done pretty good so far.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So what are
this is live.
Oh.
What are some of the highlights that you would say, if you were to look back, Elsa, just maybe the top 2 or 3 highlights that you really enjoyed the stage that really meant the most to you? What were some of those things? And Rob, I'm going to ask you that question too, but not on stage.
Okay, hold on. One of those is actually the fact that me and the MC for one of our first shows, we coordinated and we didn't even know about it. Rob was wearing the red velvet jacket on stage, and I happen to be wearing the red velvet suit on stage. So basically what that means is we both freaking rock at fashion. That's all there was to it. That was one of my
That was
favorites.
your first Miss Atlas. That was your first crown, right?
That was my first Miss Atlas. That was not my first crown.
I thought you won that year.
I did not win that year.
My bad.
My first Atlas. I did 4 Atlases. The first one, I was 3rd place.
Right.
So just goes to show, don't ever get discouraged, because then in this case it was 3rd place out of 4. So it wasn't like, yes! But you know what? The honest to goodness truth, Matt, you probably were going to ask about this later, so we'll just jump and start it. That 3rd place was something I was very, very grateful for, because about 5 weeks before that, my husband had a heart attack. And the funny story is that he's in his hospital room. Now, I've been going back and forth between school and the hospital. I'm not training. I'm barely eating unless it's M&Ms out of the vending machine. I'm taking care of my kids, running back and forth, stressed out. I hear Christopher on the phone with Bob Johnson going, yes, I am still judging the Atlas. Don't take me off it. Elsa's still competing. We are so very lucky that he actually lived past that moment, because I'm pulling my hair out, stressed out, and then he got off the phone. I waited. I went, Elsa, what? So about 4 weeks of kamikaze, catch-as-catch-can prep. So whenever I got 3rd place there, I was grateful for it. I knew darn good and well that was not one of my finer moments. I did my best, and my best got me 3rd, and that's all that mattered. But that was actually a really great moment. From that same show, though, I have a picture of Christopher and I got Directors of the Year at that show. So I didn't walk away just with 3rd place. We walked away with something else. And let's see. All right. Blush your eyes a little bit. My last favorite moment was I had just stepped off the stage, 2019 Atlas. Nobody knew who won. And if you've ever met Chris Cruz as a coach, that man gives you no quarter. I'm tired. I don't care. I'm hungry. That sucks. I'm tired of cardio. And you don't get sympathy from him. So I stepped off the stage, no idea where I placed, and I walked off, and here's this guy literally, I'm sorry, but he was crying. He was, and you don't know what it's like to be proud of yourself until you have Coach Cruz proud of you and showing it, because honest to goodness, he does not give out the attaboys very often. When he does, though, it is that much more valuable. And he was really, it was a really awesome moment to have him. And we didn't know if I got 1st or 3rd or whatever, but he was proud of me anyway. And that was pretty cool.
Yeah, damn me for that also. But anyway, the kind of backstory to that, it was funny because when you were doing, I don't remember I think it was prejudging. I don't remember what it was, but Tiffany was helping at the table with Morgan and Elizabeth, and I'm kind of in the crowd behind her. And Tiffany looks back at me, and I'm bawling, like I'm in the crowd just bawling. And Tiffany looks at me, like gives me this face. So Tiffany don't get to see that very often either. So just let you know that. Great moment.
Well, we knew that this was probably going to be a tissue. Yeah. Happy tears, right? So Rob, this is going to intersect with you and Elsa here in just a little while. But I mean, Rob, you've done acting, you've done modeling, you've done everything under the sun out on the West Coast. What are some of your highlights, or, if you had your top 2 moments, not with GBO necessarily, but what were some of the most impactful things for you, just getting out to LA, and really those moments that you remember that really defined that moment for you?
Well, I mean, getting out here is half the battle in a sense. I was back in Ohio, and my dream was to come out here and give it a shot. You know, I wanted to be a writer, actor, director, filmmaker, Oscar winner, the whole thing. You know, I mean, you don't come out here to not. And side note, I'm neither of those things right now. But you get out here and it's overwhelming because it's like, you go from, like, I was in a small area where I had some local commercials. I was on the radio, and I felt like, a local celebrity. And it's like, it's literally like going from JV high school football to now you're in the pros and you're up against all the best. And so half the battle here is just getting seen, contrary to some, people's belief. You don't just get to go to every audition. You have to be invited to an audition. And that's half the battle, is getting the right representation. So when I got out here, getting an agent first was a big, huge deal. Booking my first commercial was a wonderful experience. I don't know if you guys remember the show Win Ben Stein's Money on Comedy
I do.
Yeah, I did a promo with Ben, and I really,
oh wow,
somewhere I have the footage, but it was me and my buddy Chris Gann, who we became friends on that, and it was like a dating show spoof. And it was like, a girl, so hunk number 2 or hunk number 3, if I was blah, blah, blah. And then they pan over me. I was like hunk number 1, my buddy Chris, hunk number 2. And then they pan down because Ben Stein's sitting there, and it was really cool because, people got to see it back home. And that was, like, oh, okay, yeah, it's cool that he came out here. So, like, kind of booking your first job is a big deal. And then, gosh, man, like, honestly, I've got some cool things that I've done as an actor. Here's one. In 2003, I wrote, directed, and produced a short film called On the Run. And it's about a father and a 6-year-old son who are on the run, and in order to escape capture, they keep changing into different costumes, and the dad tries to make it fun for the son in the face of danger. And I did that with my own 6-year-old son, Tyler. And he would spend summers with me. So we got a crew and everything. And at the time, I financed it with money I got from these Coors Light commercials I did. And it was really an awesome thing. Put the crew together, and he was 6 years old, and he did such a fantastic job. And we shot it over the course of a week and edited it. We got it to some film festivals. He came out and people interviewed him, and it was really just an amazing moment. So I think, that's got to be one top highlight. And I remember thinking at the time, we'll always have that. Well, now he's 23 years old and he's an actor himself. He recently starred in the Way Back with Ben Affleck. It's a movie about basketball, high school basketball players. It's actually about Ben Affleck. He's a coach of a high school basketball team, struggling to go through his own, issues with alcoholism and loneliness and whatever. But my son actually was cast as one of the basketball players on that team. And that just came out right before the shutdown, literally March 8th, and then everything shut down. So it's been cool to kind of ride that experience, to have it go from he was 6 years old to suddenly he's 23 years old, walking the red carpet. Well, I'm trying to coach him, but suddenly, like I said, at 6 years old, I gave him his first part. Now he's 23 and I'm trying to, mooch in on his connections because he knows Ben. So I guess those are some highlights.
Nice. Well, if I can just, before I get to Elsa again, or before we get to Elsa, what would you say the film that you've been in you're most proud of? And I know that you did one with your son. I know you've been in a few with, Brad Pitt. We won't really get into that. And, that's neither here nor there. We think you look better than Brad Pitt anyway. I think he's your double. But, that's just man crushing. But, what would you say the most you start, or maybe just appeared in, what would be the film that has been the highlight for you that you're most proud of?
Well, man, I'm actually going to flip it because you just said we don't have to talk about that. But I was going to say, since we brought it up, so I work for the last 3.5 years, as Brad Pitt's stand-in and photo double. And we did Once Upon a Time in Hollywood back in 2018, working with Quentin Tarantino, Leonardo DiCaprio, Margot Robbie, and a slew of other amazing actors. And I'm not in that at all. I'm just there every day, setting up the lights and doing everything I got to do, which requires, of a stand-in and a photo double. And for those of you that don't know, a stand-in, they usually try to find a person that has a similar look, similar body shape, You'll wear the exact same costume or something similar to it for the lighting. So the star can be back in their trailer doing whatever, getting ready, and then you have to get, lights and everything, and then you'll do the blocking. You'll actually go through the scene and do all that. And then a photo double is when, say there's a scene where the main actor's way in the back and they're maybe to the side and they're reading the newspaper, but they got to be there. So sometimes they don't want to have the big star be there, so they can just sit at home and work on what they've got to do, because, film shooting is grueling. I mean, it's like 5 days a week, 6 days a week when you're on location. So if they can not have them there and they can find a double that's close enough and they can use that and shoot around that. So that's what a photo double is. So I do both for Brad. And so working with Tarantino on a Tarantino set on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and for those that haven't seen it, please go out there and see it. And if you're a little kid, maybe ask your parents, and parents don't watch it. No, I'm kidding. Everyone should watch it.
We don't have kids.
That was the most amazing experience, because it was Brad, it was Leo, and it was Quentin. And Quentin was a big reason why I decided I wanted to try to come out to LA and do that, pursue the business, acting, writing, directing, because I saw Pulp Fiction and it blew my mind. It blew my mind. I then found out, okay, he wrote True Romance, and I watched Reservoir Dogs, which was his first film, independent film. And then I kind of read a book about him, and because there wasn't an internet really at the time. And he was this dude that was like, he didn't even really graduate high school. He was just a dude that loved movies. And he was like, I wanted to be an actor so bad, no one wanted to cast me, that I just wrote my own stuff. And he wrote himself into it. And I was like, wow, man. And I always thought, like, because growing up in Ohio, where I grew up, like, this was a different era. There wasn't an internet. People just didn't go. Like, you didn't know how to get into the movie business, And I always thought, well, you had to go to Harvard or something like that to become a writer. And then Quentin Tarantino didn't even graduate high school, or maybe barely did, like myself. And I thought, well, hell, okay, because I got some stories I want to tell. So I started writing stuff down while I was in Ohio. And, like, I wrote a whole screenplay, 400 pages, didn't have no idea how to do it. And so he was a huge influence on me, getting me out there, because I was like, wow, you don't have to be a super brainiac. And that was his whole thing. You just have to have a passion for movies. And so there I was in 2018, working with Quentin every day. And he's the most awesome dude in the world. Like he loves making movies, and he loves his crew. He treats it like a family, much like the GBO family, like Bob Johnson, Laura Johnson. And he brings that excitement every day. Every day, you're excited to be there because he treats you that way. And so there I was working with Quentin and Brad and Leo, Margot, and all these wonderful people. And my son was out, and I actually got him a job as a production assistant on that. So for a few weeks, my son was there every day working alongside. He met Brad, he met Quentin, and it was just a really amazing experience. Like, wow, I moved out here inspired by this guy, and he's a very friendly person. So like I said, he treats his crew like family. So he, some places, some sets you go on, some directors, you don't even talk to the director. They're just busy, you know what I mean? Whereas on this set, he gets to know every single person, every 21-year-old PA, and like, he just gets to know them, and he's inspiring. He's very insanely inspiring with his creative energy, because he's like, we're making a movie, everyone. And so that was like probably the most amazing experience. The things I've starred in, great, that's awesome. But to actually be there in that film is so special to me. In addition to everything else, I don't want to knock anything else I've been involved in, but like being there for 5 months and getting to go through that and watch it in awards season, that was really a special moment.
Leonardo from Ecuador is tuning in, and he absolutely loves. He's never heard that story before, so he only met you at the 2019 Atlas and has no idea a little bit of your background. So you've got Central and South America loving you right now.
Oh, nice! I love South America. I love all the Americas.
Yeah, welcome kisses. It's all good. So Elsa, I have to ask you this, because when we got a chance, it was 2017 is when I was first really involved with GBO. Can you walk us through your Atlas wins? You're a 3-time world champ in 2 different divisions, and you now are director of pro athletes. There's a lot of accolades, and I know all those trophies behind you are definitely yours. So yeah, let's go ahead and pan to them.
Yeah, all of them. There we go. If you guys don't know, Chris just forced me to sit in the closet with no air conditioning, because if we're in the same room, we echo off of each other. So,
no, she needs to drop some water weight is the problem.
Hold on.
Me too.
She's going to get something. She's going to come hit you.
Yeah. Apparently, she's within an arm's reach.
She's one door away from beating the crap out of you.
Yeah.
Anything can and will happen at GBO show.
I'm sorry, y'all. There we go.
So 2017, you win Mrs. Atlas. Was that in standard bodybuilding or classic bodybuilding?
Yes. Sorry, sweating. That was actually in standard bodybuilding. I was not actually. I've never actually posed for this. The standard bodybuilding for women is doing the men's posing. Believe it or not, totally not the same thing as classic. So I had to learn a new way to pose, and Cruz is trying to teach me how to do this, and I'm like, you want me to do what with what? Okay. But I was committed to doing this, and 2017 was actually an interesting year for me. I broke a rib at 5 weeks out, and trained through my broken rib and competed with a broken rib. And I apologize to this day to Chris Cruz because I got off stage and leaned over a table, and he puts his arm on my back. It's like, you okay? It's like, oh, for the love of God, get your hand off me. It was right over the broken rib. I'm sure I was completely polite and totally respectful about it. Yeah. So that was an interesting year. I was beyond excited to have gotten that. If nobody, I'm just gonna keep it here or whatever. Everybody can see.
Nice.
That.
That is a nice tattoo, by the way.
That was after I won 2017 Miss Atlas. You think about it, and there's so many things that are milestones in your life that you did, and yeah, it's whenever you get tattoos, it's to remember something or to commemorate something. And somebody's like, you got that on your arm? I said, GBO Miss Atlas 2017 is something that I did. It happened. You're not going to be able to take that away from me. I might as well have it and wear it proudly. That, and I had to outdo Chris Porter because he had the truck wrapped. So, he can't beat this. Never could.
Well, you moved to 2018. You switched divisions. Is that correct?
Yes.
So what was your experience like in 2018?
I was always more comfortable with women's classic simply because that's my body type. Some people are blessed to build muscle at a crazy rate. That was not my blessing. My blessing is that I striate and lean out pretty well, all things considered. And so with women's classic, that was just fitting my body type a little bit better. 2018, I believe I got best poser. I think that actually had a lot to do with the fact that I had center stage in the background screaming their heads off while I was posing. But I kind of enjoyed that. That's one of the reasons why I like doing bodybuilding over figure, is because we get to have that moment where we get to play on stage a little bit. As long as we hit 5 poses during the process, we don't have to do backflips, we don't have to do push-ups, we don't have to do anything crazy, but we get to express ourselves. And so I do that. My music is not normal music. It's not pretty. It's not feminine. But we like to have a good time with it.
Well, there's something interesting because you have a most muscular pose from 2018. We remember that. And I think Rob OMalley happened to get caught with also a most muscular pose. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah. She beat me. Clearly.
His pose was fine.
That's anywhere to be found.
Angry looking. And he looked too unsure of himself. So he's going to work on that. He's going to do that cross between a scream and a scowl, and he's going to come back and he's going to rock it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and do my best, but I'll never be able to compete with 3-time Miss Atlas. No way. No.
Well,
I mean,
ask my kids. My yelling face. You can't duplicate that. It's scary. It's.
I don't think you can duplicate your deltoids and your level of leanness. I don't want to ever go there.
I'm gonna keep trying.
I know. I you know what? Honestly, I got so much respect for all the athletes to compete, especially you, obviously, Elsa. In this business, I'm always trying to stay lean, and I'm failing at it at a regular basis. But like doing prep and restricting your calories in the way you guys do, I'll go. If I have something coming up that I got to be lean for, I'll go a couple days, and 2 or 3 days seems like like months. Like, you know, you would think I was stranded on a deserted island and I was starving and being dehydrated, and then I'll break down. I'll end up eating in the middle of the night. It's like my body just takes over, and it's like, I get the night.
Imagine being stranded, starving, dying of thirst, and there's a cardio machine in the corner waiting for you.
Yeah.
It's
no,
much
I can't, and I try, like, I wrestle with it. So, like, I have much respect for all the GBO athletes in that prep phase, because, like I said, it is not easy to first of all, it's not easy, period. All right. But secondly, like, to work out on restricted calories is all you want to do is eat. And, you know, like, I'm thinking about eating right now, the more we talk about it, to be honest with you. And so much respect. And it was just a pleasure to be there with you for some of those Miss Atlases. I guess I got confused with 2016 and 2017. That's when you won. And then again in 2019 when I was there. Great moments.
Well, let's just let's go ahead and let people be the judges of this now that I have it up.
Yeah,
I would
those
just
of you at
say,
home, be the judge.
We've got definitely a good little proportion and symmetry working here between.
There's Kyle Stevens,
Major League bodybuilders here.
You see how in awe he is? Look at his face. He's like, I can't believe he's rocking this with the microphone.
Notice
I didn't take my shirt off.
It's insane. Now, Elsa, this is what I talk about, because this was why she got best poser, dude. Wow. She absolutely destroyed everybody with that. And we're like, okay, best poser. That's it.
Yeah. That would be a great meme. Like, when mom says put the iPad down, she means it.
I thought somebody would get a kick out of that, because you did go up, you know, against Kyle Stevens. I saw a little bit of your split calf shot, dude. And your calves were very comparable to his, and he is a professional bodybuilder. Dude, you've got it going on. Well, and Elsa had it going on. So.
I would trade these calves for great abs any day. You know, it's all genetics when it comes to my calves. Well, I should not say that, because I grew up a competitive swimmer and a water polo player from the time I was 8 years old till about 19. In fact, I still swim to get lean and stay in shape to this day. So, you know, you do get them out, but I do have, you know, some okay calves, and I like to bust them out on the bodybuilders every once in a while, because I'll have guys at the gym be like, what do you do for your calves? And all I do is run. Like, I'm not doing a bunch of calf raises, but I can sense that the audience is really wanting to see them right now. And
yeah, I think so too. I've had many requests. So let's see about these calves. Whoa, that's a little more than a calf.
Hold on.
Holy cow. Oh my gosh.
Hey.
I guess you don't shave during quarantine, do you?
And hopefully that's the last time I ever bend over at a camera in Hollywood. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I just saw a lot more of you than I've ever seen before in my life.
Yeah. You didn't even have to pay for it this time.
I know. We got to pay for it
this time.
I'm kind of at a loss for words. So, Cruz, what else you got, dude?
Man, I don't know. Are we like closing here?
Yeah.
Rob, man, it's been
minutes,
okay. Rob, it's been fun, brother, having you at you know, the Atlas is doing the MCing and all. I think you do a great job. We had Morgan Dean on here last week, and you know, just that kind of talk about how I appreciate the effort that you guys put into it, and you're one of them also that puts effort into the athletes when you're on the stage, and very good at entertaining the crowd, because you know, there's times in between where it can get pretty low, and Rob's there with, you know, with some one-liners or whatever, and or hitting most musculars to you know, keep the crowd into it, and that's what an MC is supposed to do, and you do a great job of that. One of my favorite highlights of Rob OMalley in GBO is the day he made fun of Bob Johnson's shoes, and then he thought he was fired.
Yeah, the next year he didn't have me back for Alice.
Must have been 2017.
Yeah, 2018 I was at.
That was one of my favorites ever, man. I'll never forget that. But because you were even talking about it at that show, you're like, I think I'm fired, and then you didn't show up the next year, so it was kind of
funny. I was glad they had me back, though, man. I appreciate your kind words, Cruz, and it's been a great pleasure. You know, I got my start in radio, like I said, and I got back into being an MC, and I've worked with, you know, tons of different corporations, you know, sports oriented. Like I did Tough Mudders. I've worked with some of the
Right.
NBA guys, which is awesome. I've actually interviewed some Houston Rockets, Clyde Drexler, Robert Horry, Vernon Maxwell, Calvin Murphy, some of the old guys, some of the legends as well. And, you know, getting involved in GBO about 5 years ago was just an amazing experience because, you know, I met Bob Johnson. It was funny. We were in a hotel. We were staying in a hotel in the Pacific Northwest, and I met Bob. And then in between like the morning show and the night show, he actually heard me prepping. Like I was in the mirror doing my mirror time, going, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the GBO." And like he's like, "Man," he's like, "I heard you practicing." He's like, "You're gonna be great." And then after the show, he's like, "Man, do you want to do the Atlas, man?" He's like, "I think you get some, you know, I like your style. I like the way you get the crowd involved." And you know, the GBO, like what I've learned about them, the global bodybuilding organization, is the athletes first is real. I mean, that is some real stuff going on right there. It is a family athletes first environment. And Bob and Laura, you know, Johnson have created just an amazing environment, and getting to meet people like yourselves and some of the athletes. Like I said, I've done the Atlas now 3 times, 3-time Atlas MC. She's a 3-time Atlas world champion, kind of the same thing. And I've done a slew of other shows up in the Pacific Northwest. And it is, you know, I like to have fun. And there's no telling what's going to happen. Like I always tell people, there's no telling what's going to happen in a GBO show. I've gotten involved in pose downs with the guys, like you saw that shot. You know, like anything can and will happen. And I really love. I'm inspired by the athletes and their stories. You know, like sometimes we get a great story. We get weight loss stories, people losing 100 pounds. You know, and just coming to compete. And like that's inspiring to me as an athlete myself. Like because like I said, I'm in the gym. I'm doing the supplements. I'm trying my ass off to like work hard and look good. And like, you know, they always keep me honest, you know, getting to know the GBO as I have. Like I see some of you on social media and I'm just like, oh boy, I guess I am not going to have that extra protein bar with peanut butter on it. I've been known to put peanut butter on protein bars lately. Yeah. And in the microwave. Don't go over 10 seconds. So it's been an honor, like I said. And like I think one thing Bob understood and some of the other people that have seen me work is like when you do hire an MC, like you can get your uncle, your friend, your buddy who's pretty good, but like when you get a professional MC, like I've done it for years, like it makes a difference because live shows, guess what, people, they don't always go as planned, and you will have downtime and you will have circumstances that you did not plan for. And so to have someone that's been there before and is able to improv and at the last minute do something, you know, it does make a difference. And so I've always appreciated that Bob and Laura have understood that about me, because we've had times where maybe the music doesn't skip or doesn't work or something like that. And it rarely happens because all GBO shows, let's just face it, are amazing. But then you got to fill some downtime. And I do like to study. I do like to understand who I'm working with and whatever causes we're going for. And like I said, I just can't stress enough that the overall message of athletes first. It's an athlete myself competing, you know, and I didn't do bodybuilding. Side story, as a kid, when I first started lifting weights, I thought to myself, I wanted to quit swimming and be a bodybuilder, like, you know, like Arnold and everybody. And I always wondered, like, well, how come I can't get those stomach muscles like the guys in the magazines have? And I remember, you know, some weightlifters in the gym were like, well, you really got to diet. And I remember thinking like, I think I'll stick with swimming, you know? I still get to wear a Speedo and I still get to shave my body. So that's what I did. And I get to eat a lot.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that.
So it's been a pleasure, and I appreciate you guys' kind words. Like it's been pretty amazing to be up there and to have fun and to see everyone. Like sometimes I don't see people for like a year, like, you know, but then I can pick right up where I left off with like guys like Todd Rogers and you know, and Bob's entire family now, you know, Ashley and Josh and I've also got to see some, you know, unfortunately I've got to see some of the heartache with you guys. And I hate to bring it up with Elsa, but like being there in 2019 and just in my heart, like, you know, I got to be impartial. I'm the MC, but like just wanting you to win so bad because of what happened with Chris. You know, I got to know Chris pretty well. We did some, you know, shows together. And what a fantastic guy. And just being there and being able to say, and still Miss Atlas, Elsa Porter, like was an amazing experience for me as far as the GBO, and probably tops it, because then your kids got to come out and just to have that moment where everyone rallied around you and you showed up and you showed up big time. And it was like such a great experience because, like I said, you guys have all of you directors and everything have created such a great environment. And I've never been involved in another bodybuilding organization, but I've heard stories, and I've also been involved in organizations, other sports teams, and it is nice, sports organizations. It is nice to have an organization that is just about giving back to the athletes for the love of the game, and you guys all share a love of that sport and bodybuilding. And it's been really cool to be a part of it, and I thank you.
Well, we're glad to have you in the family, and I know that as the West Coast grows, I'll be coming out there soon, and we're going to see, exactly where we can make that fit and possibly work in the future. So,
I'm really excited about that because this market is open,
too.
Man. It is open. Like I go to the gym, there's so many fitness athletes out here, and it is open, wide open. And I've been so excited to hear that the storm that you're taking over, and in California, we had that talk on the phone the other day, and it's like, wow, I think a lot of great things are happening with GBO. And again, I've watched it from my first show I did. I've watched it grow, man. Like I remember Bob saying, like, here's my plan. I want to get this thing all over the world, hence the global. And at the time, we really weren't like maybe one place. And then all of a sudden, I would talk to Bob. He'd be like, we're here, we're there, we're in Italy, we're there, we got this guy. And I was like, wow. So I've watched this grow, and it's just been really amazing to be a part of it. And just, I think everyone shares the same, sentiment. Like COVID sucks. It really put a hamper, but like, the thing is, we're not alone. Like every organization, every family, every person is going through this, and we're all sharing this. And I think we're all going to come out a little bit stronger. And I know the GBO is going to come up big time. And I know they got some big plans, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Well, they got to watch out for us, I think, because we have time now. We have time to make bigger plans, and we have time to put stuff together and get everything where it needs to be. And so yeah, watch out for us in 2021 because we got nothing better to do than a scheme. That's it. We're all sitting there twirling mustaches and thinking, what can we do this time? So yeah. And I know a lot of the athletes, if they don't have a chance to in this year compete with the GBO, like myself, we're making plans to take this time to grow and to rest and to come back better than ever. And so we can think of COVID as the downtime in some ways as a curse, but maybe in another way we might find out later on that it's a blessing and that we have this time to regroup.
Yep.
Yeah. Well said. Elsa, well said, Miss Atlas.
Yes. What are you excited about for 2021, Elsa?
2021, I'm looking forward to the shows coming back. And I'm not talking about shows I compete in, just the shows, period. Because if you know, my whole family, we kind of bleed GB and O. And the shows are sort of like, they're not sort of like, they are mini family reunions. And not only do I get to see my old family, sorry, y'all, but you guys also get to meet your new family. And I know we're looking forward to Morgan honing her scorekeeping skills. And I just, I show up and I'm like, hey, what do you want me to do? I don't even have a job anymore. I just show up and bring Morgan. But it's fun. It's for us, whenever you're not starving to death backstage, it's a blast. That's all there is to it. So I'm looking forward to these shows. I am looking forward to competing, but I'm looking forward, like I said, at this point in time to use this opportunity that I haven't had since I began to walk out of my comfort zone of staying lean year round. And building muscle and not sweating the fact that my weight never changes. I'm fine. Everything's fine. I got it. Anyway, but to actually enjoy the growing part, which I've never really had a chance to. It's been 6 months off, 6 months on for years now. And so I'm kind of trying something new this time. And we'll see.
Well, we appreciate you, first of all, because you are the director also of pro athletes. And when Mama Porter, when she gets after you, I would say, and I think I heard you say this on a couple of things as far as pros who are getting their cards lapsed to make sure and get it in right away so they don't have to deal with the wrath of Elsa Porter. What would you say to those folks? Get it in sooner than later? Is that what I heard?
We do have some shows coming up, and we have people who are pros who are committing to those shows, and this is absolutely fantastic. The thing is that your commitment letters, number one, do not go to the promoter this year. They go to Laura, and that's, at least for right now, they're going to go to Laura. Laura's going to get those commitment letters, and then we're going to look and see if you're going to be eligible. Because if you are crossing a stage, y'all, you have to be crossed. So, say for example, you're not lapsed yet, but the show you're getting ready to show up for, you put your commitment letter in for, by that time you will be lapsed. Go ahead and renew, especially for you guys renewing in 2020. When you're renewing in 2020, instead of your card being good for a full calendar year, say October to October, because we don't do that October to December stuff. But instead of being good for a full calendar year, your card will be good when you're renewing in 2020 until December 31st, 2021. You get extra time on that. So whenever you renew now, your date gets pushed back to that time. So the next time I look at your date to make sure you're current, your date is going to be December 31st, 2021. But in order to everything has to be up. So if your card expires in June, and you put your commitment in June, that's fabulous. But if you expire in October and you don't have it up to date, we're not renewing anything at the shows. You have to do it beforehand. I am trying to email everybody and let you know and give you plenty of time. But some of y'all are getting my emails, or you're not looking in your spam folder, and kind of putting it off. And it's not the best idea.
If you're
you do
due,
not want to wait till the last minute.
Yeah, if you're due in 2020, just renew, because you'll be good until the end of 2021. So perfect.
Right.
Well said. I know you broke up a little bit, but for the pros, they know, and I think they're going to be ready to go as you're getting in more, because I had 3 more say that they're sending it to you like right away. So, Elsa, if someone wants to follow you, what's the best way to follow your journey for 2020, 2021? Are you more on Facebook or Instagram?
I'm on both. I'm maybe more on Facebook because the Messenger is easier for me to access. But either way, I make it easy. It's Elsa Porter on Instagram. It's Elsa Klinert Porter on Facebook. Put in Elsa Porter, you're gonna get me. There's not many of us out there in the world. So if you find another one, I'll let you know.
Cool. And then Rob, for you, I know that a lot of people have asked, how can I follow Rob? How can people follow you, Mr. LA Hollywood Rockstar?
At Rob OMalley on Instagram, or I have a Facebook. I believe I have a Facebook page. Rob OMalley, just ROBOMalley. Yeah, it'd be cool. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to 20.
So you're not like California dude 1477 and asterisk / whatever.
No,
easy to find, just your name and that's it.
It's hard enough for me to just remember my own name. I mean, you guys know me. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. I can't get too tricky. It's like your passwords. I got the same thing. A hacker would easily steal my life, and they give it back. They're like, dude, I don't want this at all.
Just give us your PIN. We'll be all set.
Yeah. They'd give it back. They'd be like, this is a raw deal I got. I'm excited for 2021. Moving forward with the GBO. I mean, you guys are moving into Nevada, Arizona, California, and that's my neck of the woods. And I just think it's going to be awesome, to see what's in store and to see what you guys have cooking, because it is so much fun. I've learned so much about bodybuilding. You used to think of bodybuilding as, it's just the big, huge guys like, Arnold and all those guys. And it's like, no, it is serious fitness athletes of all sizes, all shapes and sizes. And it's amazing to see some of the stories, the father and son stories, the families getting together, and just the amazing stories of people overcoming serious injuries, people in their 50s, grandparents, doing it just because hey, I've always wanted to do this thing. And it's there's nothing better than to, promote a fit lifestyle. And again, I'm looking forward to 2021 and beyond for the GBO.
Very cool. Well, first of all, we thank both of you. And just one more quick announcement before we take off. For the rest of the year, we do have 3 shows, and we have the Legacy Classic, which is going to be September 26th in Stafford, Texas. Todd is capping that show for pros and for amateurs. So if you haven't registered or you haven't gotten your commitment in, please do so right away. But more importantly, the tickets are going to sell out, and there's going to be a limited number of spectators going to watch that show. So, Todd is very excited about that show, but more importantly, make sure and get in, because there's not going to be exceptions. If it's all sold out, it's all sold out. I know that Cruz, you secured a guest poser for the Louisiana State Championships.
Oh,
In
yeah.
30
yeah.
seconds or less, can you describe that?
So the GBO pro from Louisiana, Ryan Pinchon, is out of New Orleans, got his pro card at your show there in Vegas this year in February. Classic bodybuilder. He's got great lines, man. He pulls a hell of a vacuum. I think he's going to put on a great show. And I asked him to come out and grace the stage for us. And, kind of another exciting thing is he's going to be in pretty good shape because he's going to be pretty close out from his pro debut at the Storm Classic. So I'm pretty excited to have him on board and come and do that. And I've got some more announcements coming out about that show. So everybody kind of stay tuned, pay attention. We are going full steam ahead with that show and got some more stuff coming out for it. So we're very excited and ready to go.
Yes. And just to hit the last thing really quickly, you guys mostly saw either my Instagram or Facebook post for the October 24th update. Yes, we do have our hotel. We actually have a backup hotel, and all of that is on our Facebook on Storm Classic GBO or just Storm Classic GBO Instagram too. So it's also on my personal page. But more importantly, I know, Cruz, you helped develop the guidelines. We are going to require masks at the show, and I get the question, do you need masks on stage? And the answer is as of now, not. But bring a mask. And so we are going to be taking temperatures, signing waivers, and then making sure once we're in, you're good. We want to make sure safety first, of course, and we are going to follow CDC guidelines, and we will have those as they come out when it gets closer to showtime. So as they might change, it's a fluid situation. We'll keep you also updated with that too. So Chris, last word.
I'll touch on Elsa, man. I've coached hundreds of athletes. I cannot think of one that has had the consistency of setbacks so close to a show. It happens a lot, but 3 times in a row like that, and to come in with the attitude that she does and gets her job done and then goes on and just lays it all out on the stage. Never had one of those. And I've told her this, and she knows this, that I'm very proud of her because I don't know anybody else that could have done what she did 3 times in a row. I mean, it's ridiculous. So yeah. So and then I also want to thank her because now she's not only part of the Center Stage team, but she's part of the Center Stage madness that goes on around here. So she's kind of witnessing a little bit every day of the craziness that is Center Stage Fitness. So she's been a great help here.
That is Center Stage Fitness.
So I just want to thank you for helping me and we got a lot of big things going on here just at Center Stage Fitness and the gym alone. So look forward to her being a part of that. So thank you, Elsa.
I don't know if she was crying or sweating,
Yes,
maybe a little bit of both. But if you're going to give Elsa a compliment like that, okay,
either way,
you
she's
got to
drying
give
out,
at least.
so I'm good.
All right, so you got to give your last compliment to Rob OMalley, Mr. Sexiness up there. So Chris, you still got the last word. Go ahead.
What were we talking about?
You just got to give Rob just a great compliment.
Yeah, Rob, man, you look great, man. Sexy as hell. I mean, I can see the Brad Pitt thing. No, look forward to seeing you, man. I know we're not going to get to see you this year, but most likely we'll get to see you next year, and can't wait for that. And we'll so we look forward to that, and because you're a cool dude to hang around and have some laughs with and all that, man. So just like I've been telling everybody else, I'm missing my GBO family, like Elsa said, and you're part of that. So can't wait to see you again, bud. Hope they reopen. Like, are they even producing movies right now? I mean, like, what's like?
Man, they're doing it, but it's very social distance.
Yeah.
Everyone's wearing masks, PPE, and it's a slow roll towards trying to get back to normal. But it's different, and it's not anywhere where it used to be. It's a very minute, and there's some trial things happening, and hopefully things can get better. We're all in this together on this big old ball that we call planet Earth, and we're going to do our best. And I appreciate all your, like I said, kind words, and I am looking forward to seeing how we branch out in 2021 and beyond. Like I think I was talking to you, Storm, about like branching out into social media, doing interviews more, getting our the GBO brand out there for the, the rest of the country, the rest of the world, and just doubling on what we've already quadrupling on what's already happening. So I'm glad to be a part of it. And I thank you guys. It's been fun being a part of the Bodcast.
Yep.
Glad I could
Elsa,
show off my calves.
I love it.
That's the only,
Elsa,
that's the only
cool.
flex off, only pose down I'll do with you, Elsa, is calves. That's it. Anything from the knees up, no way, no how.
Hey, dude,
I'm ready for a calf off anytime. Come at me.
Last thing I'll tell you is this. Keep your beard, because I do want to stroke that a few times when I come out in a few weeks, because I got to see that thing, man. That is its own animal. But we appreciate both of you being on. And, we appreciate really your input, your support, and really just, overall just being you and authentic. And that's what we really enjoy about our GBO family. But, as we wrap up, stay safe. We'll talk soon. And until then, we will see all of you same time, same place next week, 5:30 Central. Take care.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.